Beep beep everybody. Hope you're all having a great day. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Here we are at Emmitsburg Antique Mall. This is located in Emmitsburg, Maryland, not far from US Route 15, just across the Pennsylvania border. As you can see, this is a rather large facility. I have recorded this place one time in the distant past, and so it's been a long time since I've been here. So we're going to go inside and see if they have any baseball cards. So when you come into the very front of the store, if you go straight in, there's this one seller that has these cards here in this display case. As you can see, there's a lot of vintage cards, including quite a few that look like they're pre-1950, I'd say. There's a pretty wide selection of them here, both Topps and Bowman and earlier stuff. And there's a few baseball bats down there. And they have a lot of autographed baseballs. There's Ozzie Smith for $60, Curt Schilling for $40, a Duke Snider ball for $50, Dave Righetti for $40, Greg Olson for $30, Jim Palmer for $60, Frank Robinson for $75, Jimmy Key for $25, B.J. Serhal for $25, Paul Molitor for $60, David Cohn $40, and Marv Albert for $30. And over here is Tom Glavine for $75, also a signed card with that. An early 70s Orioles team ball for $40, Fergie Jenkins for $50, Ford Motor Company giveaway $25. There's a few cards in that box there. A Cal Ripken Jr. baseball for $15. And there's some hand-collated sets down there. Stadium Club from '93. Deeper in the store, I found this case of random stuff here. There's an autographed Will Clark card there for $25. There's a '59 Billy Martin for $30. There's some non-sports cards in this case. And this is kind of in the middle of the store. Here's another case in the middle of the store. Got a '69 Hank Aaron for $25. A '76 Hank Aaron for $22. A '64 Willie McCovey for $20. Along with some football cards. And if we go into the back of this booth, we'll find some Wheaties boxes. Some complete sets, 91 complete there for $30. Donruss Baseball's Best for $30. A 91 Donruss set. Didn't quite get the price on that. There's an 89 Score wax box for $30. An 87 wax box for $75. Looks like 89 Topps back there. And some signed bats. Andrew Jones, 95. And that top one is Frank Howard, 200 for that. This case had a whole bunch of Cal Ripken cards. I did not ask to have it open to look at these closer. Looks like price, ranges from 75 cents on higher. There's some older cards in here as well. Didn't quite get a good view of this. The lighting in this area wasn't too good, and there's a lot of reflection off the glass of this case. There's some racing cards to your right. Yeah, this is kind of difficult to see these, so I apologize for that. Looks like some minor league cards down there. Zoom out so you can see this case. And not far from this case, there was a seller selling a starting lineup. Mostly Derek Jeter was mostly featured here. That one is priced at $60. A couple of these are cheaper. There's one I think that's priced at $10. And the seller had a bunch of other stuff. And we got some magazines. Sports Illustrated. Baseball cards. Fantasy Baseball Draft Guide from 2008. There's a Derek Jeter rookie card, along with some large photo of some sort that's priced at $60. Some baseball card magazines from the early 90s on this shelf. Baseball Card Monthly. Here's an autographed photo of Al Bunbury, who played with the Orioles in the early 80s. And that one's priced at $40. I thought that was pretty neat. They have some vintage cards in here, mostly commons it looks like. There's Harvey Keene. Whitey Ford, that one is $60 from 1959. And inside this case there is an album binder of 1958 Topps cards. And I believe the price on that was $388. Looks like some semi-stars, but mostly common cards. And there were a bunch of cards down there. I'm sorry I couldn't get a closer look at those things. There was an object on the floor that kept me from getting closer to the case. There's an autographed photo of Kent Herbeck, priced at $50. Not something I have seen very much out in the wild. Oh, I'm sorry, that was $80. And there's a close-up of the price of that binder again. It says it has 115 cards in it. Looks like they have some worn corners. Here's like a big variety of different things in this case here. As you can see, they have some pre-1950 cards along with some cards from the 60s, non-sports, and other sports, and including baseball. There's some football players up there. Kirby Puckett rookie. You don't see a price on that. And a bunch of cards down here, basketball cards. And this seller also has cards in a neighboring case over here. Lots of cards in there for $1 or $2, mostly from the junk wax era. There's an assortment of football cards. Here's some of those larger master photos from Stadium Club Here's a sheet of that Nolan Ryan Coca-Cola set from the early 90s, as well as a, I forget what the stand-up figure of Ken Griffey. There you can get an overview of this booth. Out in the back, there's plenty of ample walking space for your dog, and here's Cody doing his favorite pastime of sniffing the ground. I did buy a couple things here, and I'm going to go over them right after this. So I'm going to leave you with this footage of Cody primarily just sniffing whatever it is that his nose is picking up. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed that brief tour of Emmitsburg Antique Mall in Emmitsburg, Maryland. Here's Grimace and Omar to say hi. Beep, 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 beep. And here's our resident gnome, Nathan. Boop, boop, boop. So the first thing that caught my eye there was this, and I don't think I got this on film. It was in that front case. As you walked into the store, it was on the bottom of that bookshelf. This is an official 1969 baseball guide published by Sporting News. As you can see, the original price was $2, but I paid $15 for this. And the reason why this caught my eye was because my grandmother actually had a copy of this at her house, and when I was a kid, I remember coming across it and looked at it for quite some time. It mostly featured highlights of the 1968 season. Hence, there was a lot about the Tigers and the Cardinals, who were in the World Series that year. And 1968 was notorious for being a huge pitcher's year, as it was the year that Bob Gibson finished the season with a 1.12 earned run average, which no one has come close to since then. And Denny McLain, who's featured here on the cover with Bob Gibson, was the last pitcher to win over 30 games in a season. And I don't think we're ever going to see that ever happen again the way baseball is currently played. And there's Pete Rose on the cover, who won the batting title that year, and Ken Harrelson. And I believe the American League batting champion, this is Mayo Smith on the back. He was the manager of the Tigers, along with Jim Campbell, who was the Major League Executive of the Year for 1968. Yaz was the batting champion in the American League, and I believe he was the only one in the American League to finish with a batting average over 300 for qualifying batting average, meaning he had the right number of plate appearances, and he hit 301. Imagine that. This year came close to being a year where, if he hadn't finished at 301, it might have been the first season and only season, I believe, where a batting average leader would have finished under 300. Could you believe that? Things changed in 1969. They lowered the mound. There were some expansion clubs added, and hitting took back off again. And this was leading up to this, through 68. As the years through the 60s kept moving forward, pitching got more and more stronger. So I thought this was cool. It was kind of, I don't know if $15 was a great price or not, but it was definitely something that reminded me of my grandmother, so I definitely had to get this. And it's in really nice shape. Gave it the sniff test, no mildew or anything. It smells clean. So very happy to pick that up. I did buy a couple cards. These were from that same seller up at the front. This is 1964 Paul Foytak. I know it was for $3, and the main reason why I bought this is because it has this huge printing orb right under the U on his name, and I do look for some of these out there when they're like this large. It catches my attention. The smaller ones I'm not so concerned about. I don't see anything on the back that's special. The card is a bit worn out. The corners are worn quite a bit, but this was the only reason why I bought that, was because of this large printing orb, or whatever you want to call it. Printing flaws are something that I find interesting. This is 1961 Topps Jerry Lump. I'm hoping I pronounced that name correctly. I got this for $3, and I bought this because it was a miscut. I have a couple other 61 cards that look very similar to this. I haven't come across any that had like real egregious miscuts, but when I see a miscut for a couple bucks, I usually grab them because I think they're pretty cool. So this will go into my miscut collection. And the other card I got from that seller was this 1986 Donruss Davy Lopes signed on card. Not sure if it's authentic or not, but it was only $2, so I figure, hey, why not? So nice pickup there. And the last card I picked up was from a seller that was further deeper into the store, that had that small box, that case, with the flip top lid that had I don't know, maybe a dozen cards in it. And picked up this 69 Hank Aaron for $25. I did check eBay comps when I was at the store, and cards that were in, say, good, very good, GVG, were pricing between, say, 20 and 40 bucks. So I thought this was probably a fair deal, because I'm kind of thinking that's what I would grade this at. When I first saw the card, I don't know if you could see it there. You could see the paper portion of this was actually flipped up more, so you actually saw the cardboard underneath. And I pulled this out and, pushed it back down so it looks a little more presentable. The bottom two corners are where the issues are with this card. The top ones actually aren't too bad. I mean, you can see a little bit of wear on them. The surface was pretty clean. The back looks pretty good, but as you can see, the lower corners are where it has most of its wear. It's a bit off center, yeah, but I figured 25 bucks seemed like a pretty good deal for this, and I don't have very many Hank Aaron cards in my collection, so this one caught my eye. So I was glad to pick that up and add this to my collection. And that's pretty much all I got there. I'll try to put a link to their website in the description below so you can check it out. And if you're interested in autographed baseballs, there were quite a few there in that cellar up in the front. So that's pretty much it. So thanks a lot for watching. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care, everyone. Beep, beep.